Most people who've been on a public road in South Africa have come across them, and most of the time the experience has not been an entirely pleasing one. We're talking about minibus taxis, of course, and the sometimes less than perfect behaviour of minibus taxi drivers. The subject has been at the centre of plans by the government to change the industry, as well as the qualifications and driving skills of South Africa's future taxi drivers. But the private sector is also coming up with unique methods to address the urgent needs in the industry, as the Gearing Up team and a summit guest presenter found out recently.
The world of the stockbroker. It's risky, pacey and hair-raising at the best of times. So Gearing Up decided it was the best place to find someone who'd be able to deal with a very pacey and hair-raising driver's test. Andile Mazwai of Barnard Jacobs Millet is used to chasing the best deals on the information superhighway. But when it comes to driving on a real one, with real people around, it seems we see the South African minibus taxi in the same light.
My experience of taxis in Gauteng and really in the country is pretty much the same as everybody else, in that they tend to be frustrating, the usual complaints, being cut off, stopping anywhere. I guess though one has to be sympathetic to that, because ultimately they are people like the rest of us trying to make a living and trying to get other people to where they want to go. But one really does believe though, or has to believe, that the situation could be improved.
About 50 kilometers north of Johannesburg near Pelindaba lies one of the best vehicle testing centers in the country. Alfina Motor Corporation, or AMC, decided it was the best place to show us not only what their buses could do, but also what greater taxi safety and better driving skills are. AMC is one of the companies shortlisted by the government to provide the future taxi industry with safer vehicles. AMC have built special 18 and 33-seater vehicles intended for the future taxi industry. But even having the best vehicle around isn't necessarily good enough these days. They've joined forces with the Skills Resources Group, or SRG, and are now offering a specialized driver's course as part of the package.
I'm not coming with you though. You have an option of an escape route to one side or the other. In this case it will be to the right. And what I'm going to do there is release the brake, allow the wheels to rotate and steer around the obstacle and stop. Okay, here comes our obstacle in front. The car in front of us has now suddenly stopped. You're approaching at about 60.
So white knuckles clinging to the bus seat may not be a thing of the past. At least we know now it'll be safer in the future.
It's really 10 out of 10. It's the sort of thing which has to be done, and it's a good thing that it's being done now.
AMC says their objective is to enhance safer driving skills in the face of extreme conditions, such as swerving and braking on wet surfaces. And part of the deal in this initiative is not only to provide the skills, but also to physically train the drivers themselves.
I think really what I'm drawing out of this is just the emphasis on driver training more than just the vehicle. What do you do in an emergency situation? How should you be looking after the vehicle?
It's one thing talking about it from the sidelines, but being a man who's used to a risky everyday environment, Andile decided to strap himself into the hot seat.
I'd rather you not sit in my lap at the moment.
Rather not.
As we approach, I'll tell you exactly what to do. Just take a nice slow turn here, because there's no power steering to help me too much, so it's quite a slow one. Leave it in there, Keep. Keep accelerating. And right, off, and left, and stop. And can you see the importance of that? You know, it's trying not to do too much work.
Yes.
You have to do a little bit more in a bus than you do a car.
Yeah.
But you got around, you didn't go too wide, therefore you didn't go off the road. And we ended up and stopped as soon as we could. And we changed lanes in doing so.
SDR has already provided this specialized driving course to drivers and bus owners who've bought AMC's vehicles. The group's now targeting the problems in the taxi industry.
I think what we're trying to achieve here is not just the driving skill. We are looking at guys, empowering them to manage a small micro enterprise, which is what owning a bus actually is. make them. It's a very holistic approach. Teaching them things like money management and getting them to run themselves as a small business and a safe small business because it's a vehicle.
It's one thing having experts around who can create safer drivers, but ultimately the people who make these vehicles also need to know their product can withstand the test.
It's our name on the front of the vehicle, and we want that, basically the AMC philosophy taken right through to the driving habits. And basically AMC also work a lot with owner-driver initiatives, so we feel to enhance the longevity of that project that we must train and the drivers in both driving skills and in basic business skills as well.